So in the last session, we discussed about features of Linux. So now we'll discuss about file system hierarchy standard. Means what are the default directories we get along with operating system. Once we install Linux operating system, what directories we get along with the operating system, that we'll discuss now. See, in Windows, A and B are reserved for floppy. Whether we are using or not, A and B are reserved for floppy. It starts creating drives from C. From C, it will create automatically the folders, right? So C is primary partition in Windows. If you open C drive, there you can see subfolders. If you open C drive, there you can see default folders. What are they? What are the default folders we have? We get along with the operating system.
Program files, driver folders.
Yeah, is.
Yeah.
So we get some default folders like programs, system32. We have system32 programs. We will get like downloads.
Users, Windows.
Yes.
Files, all the separate
Users,
folders.
administrator, Windows, like that will get the application. That is in Windows.
Windows.
Same like that in Linux also. While installing the operating system, here also nothing is there. After installing the operating system, so here also we will get some directories. In Windows, we call folder.
No, ma'am, you are not audible.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Now you are audible.
Okay.
Yeah, screen out.
I'm repeating. File system hierarchy standard. Screen visible, right?
Yes, ma'am. Screen visible.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah.
So in Windows, while installing the operating system, in here, after installing the operating system, we'll get some default folders. A and B are reserved for floppy, whether we are using or not. A and B are reserved for floppy. It starts creating the drives from C. C, D, E, F, like that. It creates the directory. So C is primary partition. C is primary partition, right? It is important partition because our operating system is there in C only. After entering to the operating system, if you double click on C drive, means there you can see some default folders. Like system32, Windows, user, administrator, downloads, library, you can see some default folders. Same like that in Linux also. After entering to the operating system, there are some default directories. In Windows, we call folder. In Linux, we call directory. Only name is different. Purpose is same. So after entering to the operating system, in Linux also, we can see some default directories. Directory means folder. Okay. So what are the default directories are there in Linux that we'll discuss now? That is important to know as an administrator also. So these are the default directories we get along with the operating system in Linux. So first is forward slash. Forward slash is a parent directory. Forward slash is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Directory means what? Folder. And this is parent directory or top level directory in Linux. And it is similar to C in Windows. Forward slash is similar to C in Windows. In Linux, forward slash is a primary partition. In Windows, C is primary, right? Same like that. Here, forward slash is a primary partition, we can say. Under forward slash, we have many subdirectories. I'm repeating forward slash. It is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Okay, and it is similar to C in Windows. Forward slash is similar to C drive in Windows. And what it contains means it contains subdirectories. These all directories are under forward slash only. Okay, so the first subdirectory under forward slash is root. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. In Windows we call administrator, here we call super user. So root is the home directory for super user. So as an administrator, if you log in into your computer and you're creating any files or directories, means that data is going to store by default under root. I'm repeating, forward slash is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Forward slash is similar to C in Windows. And it contains subdirectory. What is the purpose of this forward slash means? It contains subdirectories. So the first subdirectory is root. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. As a super user, you logged in into your computer and you created any files or directories means by default, the data is going to store under root. And next one is home. Home is the home directory for normal user. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into your computer and you have created any files or directories means that data is going to store under home. I'm repeating. Forward slash, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Forward slash contains subdirectories. It is similar to C in Windows. Root. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. As a super user, you logged into your computer and you created any files or directories, the data is going to store under root. And home. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into your computer and if you create any files or directories, the data is going to store under home. Here, one more thing is once any user is created in our Linux machine, it automatically creates a directory. Directory means what? Folder, remember. It automatically creates a directory with same username. Where it creates the directory means under home. So when the user logged in and creating any files or directories, the data is going to store in their own directories. So for example, if you created a user Jack, immediately it creates a directory with the same name Jack. Where it creates the directory means under home. It creates the directory with Jack name. Now you created a user Tom. Immediately it creates a directory. What directory it will create? Tom. Where it creates the directory? Under home. So it means now under home, we have Jack directory, Tom directory. When Jack user logged in and Jack is creating any files or directories, the data is going to store in their own directory. When Tom user logged in and Tom is going to store any files or directories, that data is going to store in their own directory. Okay, so this I will show practically also in our user administration class. And next one is boot. Boot contains bootable files. Operating system bootable files are stored under boot. So boot contains bootable files. Okay. Next one is sbin. Sbin contains super user commands. The commands which can be executed by super user. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands. The commands which can be executed by normal user. That commands are stored under bin. See, when you logged in as a normal user and you're executing commands means first it will check in bin directory whether the command is there or not. If the command is there in bin, it will give you output. If the command is not there, it will not give you output. Like that. And next one is USR. USR contains default applications. Applications which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. So, next one is var. Var contains variable files. Variable files means system log files. It is like task manager. How many users logged in, how much CPU they used, how much processor they used, how much memory they used, all the information is stored in it. Var contains variable files, means system log files, every user information, which user logged in, what commands they are executing, at what time they logged in, at what time they logged out, all the log files it will store in it. I'm repeating. Sbin contains super user commands. Bin contains normal user commands. The commands which can be executed by super user, that commands are stored under sbin. The commands which can be executed by normal user, that commands are stored under bin. Okay, USR contains default applications. Applications which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. Var contains log files. System log files are stored under var. Dev contains devices information. Device means partition. In Windows, we call partitions. In Linux, we call device. So dev contains devices information. How many partitions are there? What is the capacity? All the information is stored under dev. etc contains configuration files. System configuration files are stored under etc. As we discussed in the last session, Linux works with configuration files, right? So that configuration files are stored under etc. OPT contains optional applications. Applications which we install manually. They are not compulsory to install. If we want, we will install applications. Like if you want to install VMware software, we'll install. If you want to install something, TeamViewer you want to install, or Cisco Packet Tracer you want to install, something. Third-party tools we want to install, means we'll install. So that type of applications are stored under OPT, optional applications. I'm repeating. USR contains default applications, var contains system log files. Dev contains devices information, device means partition. etc contains configuration files. System configuration files are stored under etc. OPT contains optional applications, applications which we install manually. That applications are stored under OPT. Media contains external devices information, means removable devices information. External hard disk, external DVD writers, kernels means removable devices information, USB devices information is stored under media up to RHEL 6 version. Up to RHEL 6 version, media contains external devices information. MNT contains partitions and their mounted directories information. Which partition is linked with which directory? That information is stored under MNT. See, in Windows, once a partition is created and and the partition is formatted means we can access that partition. If you double click on the partition, we can enter into that partition. So once you entered into that partition, you can create folders, you can create files, you can do whatever you want. You can check the content, that is possible. But in Linux, after creating the partition and formatting the partition, still we cannot access the partition directly. So what we do is we'll create a directory and we'll give link between partition and directory. That is called mounting. Mounting means giving the link between partition and directory. So if you store something data in your directory, the data is going to store in your partition, which is mounted. If you want to store the data, means create the data in the directory, the data is going to store in your partition. If you want to check the content of your partition, open your directory, it will show the content of your partition. If you want to delete something, if you deleted something from the directory, the data is going to delete actually from partition. So this directory is like monitor. Everything is stored in partition only. We use it as a monitor. That's it. So in MNT, which partition is linked with which directory, how to mount, those all will show. That information is stored in MNT, and that we'll see in our, no, this is administration class, not right. This is shell scripting, right? Here I'll give only basic information. About MNT, if you want to know, means that will be in your Linux administration course, not here. Here up to that much we'll not discuss. We'll discuss only basic up to file permissions. So in MNT, it stores which partition is linked with which directory. That information is stored in MNT. Okay. So how to create this, how to mount this, all you will get in your Linux administration course. Yeah, Mihir Panchal, this is not a RH administration course. This is shell scripting course. Here I'll give only basics of Linux, not complete Linux. Complete Linux, if you want, means you can join in Linux administration course. If anyone are interested, evening 9 p.m. running batch is there. You can join there also. This is for Linux shell scripting. Okay. You're clear, right, Mihir? Yeah. One moment. And next one is run. Run contains external devices information and kernel information from RHEL7. Boot contains bootable files and kernel up to RHEL6 version. Media contains external devices information up to RHEL6 version. From RHEL7, run contains external devices information. External device information is stored in run from RHEL7 onwards. Also, kernel is stored under run. Okay, so these are the default directories we have in Linux. I will repeat these directories again. Any doubts are there, you can ask me. Once I will repeat all the directories. /, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Under /, we have subdirectories. Directory means folder. Okay, so first is root. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. If you log in as a super user and if you create any files or directories, the data is going to store under root. And next is home. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into your computer and you're creating any files or directories. The data is going to store under home. Boot contains bootable files. Boot contains bootable files and kernel up to RHEL 6 version. Sbin contains super user commands, the commands which can be executed by super user. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal user. That commands are stored under bin. USR contains default applications which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. Var contains variable files. System log files are stored under var. Dev contains devices information. Devices means partitions. So partitions information is stored in dev. In Windows, we call partition. Here we call device. etc contains configuration files. System configuration files are stored under etc. OPT contains optional applications. Applications which we install manually. That applications are stored under OPT. They are not compulsory to install. If we want, we install. So that type of applications are stored under OPT. Media contains external devices information. External hard disk, external DVD writers, pen drives, USB devices information is stored in media up to RHEL 6 version. MNT contains partitions and their mounted directories information. Which partition is linked with which directory? That information is maintained by MNT. And run means run contains external devices information. External hard disk, external DVD writers, pen drives information is stored in run from RHEL 7 version up to RHEL 6 version. Media contains external devices information. RHEL 7 onwards, run contains external devices information, also kernel information. So these are the default directories we have in Linux. For this also, I'll give the notes in Telegram group. Once you joined into Telegram, I will share the notes for this also. For every topic, I'll share the notes there. Is this directories or clear?
And under home directory, any user will create.
Any user is created means that uses with the same username, it creates a directory.
Okay.
Say
Under
for example,
home directory, under home it will be created, na?
Exactly. Now, if I created a user Dev, immediately it creates a directory with the name Dev. Where means under home. So when Dev logged in and is creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under Dev directory.
Okay. Or any commands or any commands if we want to run, again we have to switch to root user, we have to execute the command, and again we have to come back to the dev directory, dev user for normal tasks.
No, if the dev user logged in and dev is creating any files or directories, means by default the data is going to store under home. In home dev directory, it creates by default.
And the shell command we will be executing from the pin and sbin directory from the root user with the privilege
Yes,
permission with the root user only. Dev cannot directly run the
yeah,
sbin
that
or
is
the
for
bin
bin.
command.
We are that is for root user. Even user is
Okay.
created by root user only. Only super user only can create the users. You clear there. Even you have today user administration. I think mostly today or tomorrow you have user administration in Linux class. At the time,
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
show
9
how to
p.m.
create. Yeah, I'll show at the time. So any more doubts, anyone? Any directory, any doubt is there? Is it clear to everyone? Directories information is clear, right, to everyone? Dev,
Yes.
you are clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Yeah. Murli,
Just seeing the directory, everything. Trying to imagine the directory
yeah,
size.
imagine. Just if you have any doubts, you can ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Murli, you're clear?
Yes, madam.
Done. Pradeep? Pradeep, you're clear? Pranav, you're clear?
Yes, ma'am. Okay as of now.
Okay. Priya but Sahu, you're clear? Directories? Done. Good. Tej, clear this directories?
Yes, that one has.
Done, done. Vinay Kumar?
Yeah.
See, again, I'm telling here, if you joined for this course, if you are not clear anything, you can ask me there itself, or you can message me. No, if you are shy for that, if you cannot do here means you can message me on the Telegram group also when you're doing the practicals. Any doubts are there, you can message me on the Telegram group also. I will check. If possible, there only I will explain. If not possible, in the classroom, next day, definitely I will explain you the concepts. Make sure you are clear in the concepts. I will explain. I will repeat the concepts if you want. No worries. Okay. So, but do it properly. Anything is not clear. Okay. Now, theory only I'm giving. No, fine. So, means probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow, most probably day after tomorrow, I'll show how to install the operating system. Once OS is installed, regularly labs will be there. Okay, so every command I will show, I will explain, and I will give notes also. Make sure you're clear the purpose of the command. No need to remember the commands. No need to by heart. If you understand the purpose of the command, that is enough. I'll share the notes. All the commands I will give. Okay, with descriptions, I will give the commands. Just if you're clear in the concept, that is enough here. Okay. So this is about today's system, file system hierarchy. In tomorrow's session, we'll see versions. What are the versions we have in Linux? What are the default partitions, recommended partitions in Linux? So some more information I will give in tomorrow's session. Like history of Unix and Linux and recommended partitions, that information I'll give in tomorrow's class. Okay. So this is about today's session. So thank you so much for the session. We'll meet tomorrow at 4:30. Only starting classes, I'm waiting for the students. Once link is changed, we'll go as per our flows only. I'll start the session at 4:30 at the time. Or whatever, 4 or 4:30, what time you decided with the DURGASOFT team, that at the time only I will start the session. Okay. So thank you for the session. We'll meet tomorrow. This notes not now. After registering, I will give it to you through Telegram, because then only you'll get the link of Telegram. Thank you.